Hello, I'm Erica Fisher. I'm doing a speech for COM 201 on I Have a Dream for Dr. Martin Luther King. You're standing in a crowd with thousands and thousands of people. You're shoulder to shoulder listening to an iconic speaker. You're listening about the inequality of rights for African Americans. This is such a defining time in your life that you can imagine telling your grandchildren about it in the future. You imagine it telling it as a story in hopes that the problems you witnessed were no longer existent for your grandchildren to see. 53 years ago, this was a possible scenario. In 1963, Martin Luther King made an outstanding speech about racism and equality that spoke to the world. It is unlikely that you haven't heard about Martin Luther King in your history class. And if you haven't, you probably know one of his well-known quotes from one of his speeches. Today I will be evaluating Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech and talk about why it was such a powerful speech that resonated deeply in those who have heard it even until this day. First, I'm going to talk about why this speech was done and the importance of it in history. In 1963, in front of over 250,000 people, Martin Luther King delivered a speech. This speech was made to call an end to racism in the United States for civil and economic rights for African Americans. Although the world was changing in many ways, racism was not. This segregation led to the Civil Rights Movement. According to Encyclopedia.com, the Civil Rights Movement was a struggle by African Americans in the mid-1950s to the late 1960s to achieve civil rights equal to those of whites. One of the most prominent leaders in this movement was Martin Luther King. His speech, I Have a Dream, made a plea to the world for racial equality. This speech was so powerful because of the techniques used and the presence portrayed by Martin Luther King. He had a strong and powerful and inspiring presence. His body presence and speaking techniques spoke to the hearts and minds of those who were listening. His body language showed a calm yet confident presence among the crowd. He raised his hand at strong points in his speech, adding emphasis and bringing in the crowd. His powerful voice had a tone that showed compassion and true emotion. Many people didn't realize that he was also a priest. This helped him in showing a passion while he spoke. According to Louis Baldwin, a professor of religious studies at the University of Vanderbilt, his pastoral was central to everything Dr. King achieved or sought to achieve in the church and in the society as a whole. In addition to his strong, captivating body language, King had techniques that spoke to his audience. He brought up important references in the past that were already full of emotion. These included the Gettysburg Address and the Emancipation Proclamation. He made the speech personal and relatable by adding metaphors that everybody could relate to. He also used reinforcement through repetition to get across his points. Dr. Martin Luther King created one of the most memorable speeches while being an activist for the Civil Rights Movement. He promoted equality for African Americans. King had a powerful body presence that captivated the attention of his audience. His speaking techniques brought in the audience through metaphors, relatability, and consistent reinforcement.